So I got a comment this week saying that I'd done this wrong, and I thought I had, but no, I haven't. The spring goes on with the washer, and then the filter, and then the metal cap thing. The metal cap thing doesn't go on first, and then you put it in. Well, okay, in this picture, the engine is upside down, but it goes in like that. So I did it right. Okay, cool. Hi. Before I do anything else, I want to check the gearbox over, because we didn't do that in the last video. So I want to make sure that we've got gears and it's not completely fudged. So that's the plan. I'm just going to start the engine up and then try and whack it into gear, because I haven't got any clutch fluid in there and I haven't done anything with the clutch. But I can just bang it into gear and it should free it up, as long as the wheel is off the ground, right? Second thoughts, before we do anything, I need to sort this cam tensioner out. Now, thank you everyone for your comments and telling me what it is. It actually tensions the cam chain inside the engine, so it's really super important. I've actually bought a replacement and I'm going to fit that now. This is the replacement, and this is the bit that's missing from mine, right? So I was just going to pop this on the one on the bike, but if you look at this, if I try and do that, it just turns infinitely. So I'd suggest someone has done that up way too tight and it's ripped the thread out of the inside of the tensioner. Brilliant, well done, whoever that was. So with that bolt removed, I'm just going to show you how this works. In the previous video, you saw me stick a screwdriver in here, right? Now if I turn the screwdriver, it actually pulls in the tensioner bit itself. And then I let the screwdriver go and it springs back out. So I'd imagine if I undo the two bolts that hold this in, when I fit the new one, I might have to wind that in, put it on the bike, and then release so it automatically springs into and pushes the cam chain to the right tension, assuming. Because assumptions are the mother of all mess ups, I've just found the instructions in the old trusty Haynes manual. I don't know if you can see that, the sunlight's a bit bright this morning. And it basically says exactly what I just said. Screw the screwdriver in until the tensioner retracts into the body, and then fit to the bike whilst holding the screwdriver in there. It sounds a bit awkward and fiddly, but that's the right way to do it, because then it will spring out to the right tension on the chain. Wicked. So let's undo these two bolts. I'm going to get a socket. I'm actually having to hold my hand, my left hand up at the top, because there's sun glare. The struggle is real. Oh, not 10mm apparently. 8mm? Right, try an 8mm. There we go. Uno. You didn't see that. Oh yeah. Oh, look at it, springing out. This is where I get absolutely covered in oil, right? Oh, that's a long bolt. It's a long bolt, I tell you, a long one. Well, that looks exactly the same as the one I've got to replace it with, so that's a good sign, right? Okie dokie. It was quite expensive. It's second hand, and it was 50 quid. Yeah, tell me about it. Right, I've put my kneelie pad over the top of the bike, so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got to wind that in, like so. No, not like that. Like... Oh, this is frustrating. Just make sure that O-ring's clean. Right, I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to... Ooh. Wait a minute. Oh, very important. This has got an arrow on it, pointing upwards. That arrow's got to point upwards. Okay. Now wind that. There we go. Lovely. And then pop the screws back in. That was relatively painless, wasn't it? Don't know if you can see. It's probably all blurry, isn't it? There we go. and then second screw can go in. Right, I'll just nip them up. Obviously it's a motorbike, not an industrial piece of crazy equipment, so these just, and there's an O-ring in there, so they just don't need to be tight. Just give them a little nip. You've got to bear in mind this is probably aluminium, and aluminium is, well, quite weak, and the O-ring will seal it without you needing to put too much force onto it. Well, that's not going to fit there, is it? There's the 10mm. There you go, and then we'll just nip that one up. Sorted. Now hopefully oil won't be running out everywhere. Now I actually made, oh, this is what I stopped the sun glare with, by the way. So I actually made the last video on Saturday. It is now the following Saturday, and I haven't started it since then, and I've actually taken the carbs off and refitted them because I was just going to crack on and strip the bike down, but then chatting to a couple of people, we want to make sure that the gearbox is okay. Yeah, obviously, so that's the plan. So I've put the carbs back on. It's taken me like ages because the throttle cable is the worst cable on any bike I've ever worked on to try and get in. It's an absolute nightmare. I'm sure there's a trick to it, but I don't know it. So yeah, so I'm just going to try and fire it up, get it nice and warm, and then we'll try banging it into a couple of gears. For those of you out there that obviously have one of these bikes, I need to get a battery for it. So if you can actually pop in the comments your recommendations, that would be really great. I'd appreciate that. God, this exhaust is warm. It's just been in the sunlight for an hour. First start in a week. We've got fuel, carbs back on, choke out. Right, let's go, see what happens. Not bad at all. There's a pop of bolt back in here, it's annoying me. Alright, calm down, mate, calm down. So this is why we label stuff. Look, water tank, I think. So I've got a bit of throttle hang, so what I'm going to do is balance these carbs properly. I've got a carb balancing kit, so what you do, you connect a gauge to each one of the vacuum ports on the top of the carbs, and then you can adjust the adjuster screws. So you pair up these two and then the other two, and then you pair up the two pairs together using the center one. So I've set the gauges up, but I've got a little visitor who's come out to get some sunshine. Hi!
Makes you sound like a little puppy. I can see you. Give me a stroke.
My hands are a bit dirty.
Oh, don't touch me.
Right, let's have a look. I haven't touched these, I've just put them on the bike and now I'm going to start it. Okay, so bear in mind I did this by eye. They're not too bad. Well, they're in a red zone which says late valve timing, leaker intake, manifold, or at riser. Okay, well, the task of this is to get them all the same. So these two are actually pretty good, and that one's pretty well matched to those two, but this one's a little bit higher, so need to tweak these two together and then match those two to those two. You'll see what I mean in a sec. Right, pulled out the Jizz PH2 for this purpose. So here's the screw I'm going to adjust, and that will adjust the positioning of the two butterflies in these two carburettors. Right, here we go. So pop the screwdriver in there and watch these two gauges. I think I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So those two are pretty much exactly the same now. Right, so now the two right-hand cylinders are slightly lower than the two left-hand cylinders. So now I need to try and get something in there to adjust that middle one, which is a bit of an awkward one to get to. So I'll do that and then come back to it. So let me explain what I just did off of camera, unfortunately. So I had no control over the idle control. There's a little knob down here that opens the 4 butterflies. They're all matched up nicely on the vacuum dials now, but I wound that out all the way and it was still probably about 2000 RPM. So I've actually pulled the throttle cable out of the holder because I wasn't convinced the butterflies were shutting properly. Now listen to the idle and the rev. There's no rev hang whatsoever. Ready? Look how low that's happy to rev. And, oh, that's not going to work because I've taken the cable out. You ready? Look how quickly it goes back down to idle. I'm not going to get it running better than that. And if you look at these dials, they're all reading the same. Now they're probably in the red. I'd probably wind the idle up a little bit. There we go. They're in the red, probably because I haven't got the airbox on, so it's probably not very happy about that. But anyway, I'm happy about it. Yeah, that's amazing. Woohoo! Okay, oh yeah, the whole purpose of doing this, let's see if it will go into gear. Okay, this is probably not going to... Oh, I need it to rev a little bit higher because it's just going to stall if I try and bang it into gear. Right, let's see what happens. This is where it falls off the stand, right? I just use the throttle. It's in gear. Look at it. We got a fuel problem now because everything fell off the butt. Right, let me get my vacuum gauges. Oh, they're right. So now we got a vacuum leak. Brilliant. What a muppet. Right. I'm going to put these back on and make sure that we're all good on the vacuum, and then I'm going to take them off and plug the holes again. So we can do that. We can do that off camera.
Okay. Cut.
So yeah, get yourself one of these. This was not expensive. I actually bought this when I first bought the Thundercat because I needed to balance those carbs once I'd rebuilt them. And I kid you not, I think I paid about 20 quid for it off of eBay, and it's only a cheap Chinese thing, but it's actually brilliant, and it works very, very well. Right, let's run through the gearbox. Let's see what we've got. Might run out of fuel. Let's see what happens. Well, that's a result. So, gearbox good. I don't know why I'm surprised. Oh, that's hot. Oh, and I did get a couple of comments about my weird OCD with red being on the left, but I was wrong. Positive is red, and that is on the right, so I'm going to swap them over as well. Duh.